that's the thing. I mean, everybody has cars, but some cars are cooler than other cars, and I don't have a very cool car. I have a truck, but you are the master of cool cars, and that's why you're on this episode of the Red Tie Community. Greetings, Red Tie Community. It's the ball guy in the red tie, John Butler, your favorite bald-headed red tie wearing realtor and community show host with a very handsome, very creative, very successful, very brilliant young man.
My heart.
Named Justin Constant. How are you, buddy?
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Hey, you made it. You're in the studio. You're actually getting some studio time.
Who would have thought this day would come?
It's what we've been talking about for a year, man.
I know.
You're here.
I know. We made it. Ma, we made it.
Woo! Well, and that's what the show's all about. It's about a community, and it's about relationships, and it's about stories. And so I really enjoy our story because this is how I kind of built my whole career, and you know, you never know what you're going to get kind of thing. It's like the box of chocolates.
Yeah, and to say that as connected as I was when I initially met you was, you know, it was a surprise. I was take a leap of faith and, you know, hear somebody out and say, hey, I have this really good dude. Justin, I know you have really good dudes, but can you listen to my good dude? And I said, okay, I'll give this man with a red tie a shot. And obviously really impressed. And, you know, the last year, you helping me, myself personally twice, really have made it the whole process of everything real estate and just my questions and texting you on weekends that you probably shouldn't have, you know, very easy. And I hope it was a joy, but yeah, total leap of faith action here. And look what happened. You know, I think we both landed in a pretty healthy friendship forever, most likely.
Well, absolutely. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. And you know, solid means constant,
Solid
which is your last
constant.
name.
It's my last name.
Inside jokes
Solid,
all the way around.
Solid Saturday.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we have Justin Constant on the show, and we are going to talk about how we met, because it is a story in itself. But more importantly, this man, at the end of this, you're going to be like, oh, wow, that guy is a big deal, especially on the car show scene. I know you're a humble guy.
I try.
I'm bragging on you.
I know you're allowed to brag.
bragging on you.
I'm trying to stay humble as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, so I guess this started about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
And
Our story, at least.
I'm going to share our love story. So we met through Pam,
Yes.
who I go to Cross Point Church in Temecula, and she was a member there, and I've known her for years. And so she called me up one day, and she's like, hey, I have a young man. His grandmother just passed away, and he needs to sell her house because you're the executor of the estate kind of thing. And so I go walking in and met you, and you're the cool guy right from the beginning, man.
Try and keep it as easy as possible. I don't believe in any type of making it more difficult than it needs to be mentality. Yep. It's very cut and dry. I make it, you know, the person can make it as difficult as they want to be, and that's your choice. And it was, you know, me being put in a situation where, you know, you're meeting somebody for the first time through somebody else is obviously, in some sense, nerve-wracking with such a big, you know, thing that I had on my heart that I had to trust somebody, you know, to take on. But no. You know, it was all daisies jumping through.
Well, and especially once we started to get to know each other, and you're like throwing out some names in real estate. I'm like, oh yeah, they've been on the show. And you knew all the big players in real estate, and so I felt very honored that you chose to go with me because they're way better than I am. So.
I wouldn't say that. It felt the minute we connected, it felt right. I think with the situation that I was in, I think the privacy side of it was almost nice, which I've expressed to you. I think that dealing with somebody that was outside of my normal car show realm was actually refreshing. I didn't have any explaining to do on who I was initially up front. I had no, I knew what we talked about would stay where it had to be. It never would have made it out where it needed to not be, essentially, in my personal business life. So that was the huge plus advantage with going with you, and that's what I was comfortable with.
Very cool. And that was a good experience, man. That was over in Temecula off the golf course. And so I think we threw in was it Happy Madison? Is that the name of the movie?
It is.
Billy? Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, you're right.
I was thinking Billy Madison. I always get them mixed up. So, we threw that video clip in because, you know, it's on the golf course.
Why not?
So why not?
Who would have thought the time we sold it at, the houses would be going for what they are now? Shame on us.
You never have a crystal ball.
No. But, I mean, it was a week. It was gone even then, January 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, so that, or 2020.
2020.
January 2020, I mean, sold in a week. So right even before COVID hit, it was already hot.
Yeah. That was a wild time, man. The whole 2020 COVID-ness of the weirdness of the world.
Talk about doing nothing.
Yeah. Hey, but 2020 was a good year for you.
Yes, sir.
Because we sold Grandma's house, and then we found a house for you and your bride to
Yes.
be. So
Yeah,
here
I
then.
mean, we ended up with almost the perfect house, and it's funny. I actually saw Scott today. He came by my work. A certain individual that we knew through family basically had a house for sale, and we stumbled upon it a couple days prior. Stars aligned miraculously. We ended up at the property early. Linked up with him as he was leaving before the the showings happened. We were the first showing. We didn't even know we were the first showing, but we were the first showing. Got to talk to him for minutes, and I think from that point on, he knew who he was selling the house to.
Absolutely.
We're still great friends. We literally text every week.
That's awesome.
It's all we're super close. But yeah, we closed on the house October 7th, the day after my 26th birthday. And then 7 days after that, I was getting married.
So yeah, 2020 was busy, man.
I mean, literally, floor was getting ripped out of the house the day of the wedding. You know, it was a very busy time. But yeah, a closed chapter led to a new one, which was nice.
They say the most stressful things in life are like getting married, selling real estate, and death, and things like that. And so you pretty much had all three of those things in 1 year. So
Yeah, no, we
handle it.
we piled. I mean, for a down year for some was a very up
Yeah.
year for myself in terms of being busy and making big life changing, I guess decisions and choices. And it was nice to not have my business regular life have a chokehold on me because I could give my full attention to what needed attention, and that was solidifying where I was going to be for the next 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Getting married for the rest of my life and all of those things.
So how is married life going?
Oh, easy.
Yes.
As you know me, easy. Come on.
Well, you and Amanda have a very like mellow personality, so I'm glad to hear that it's still
Yeah.
mellow.
No, yeah, her and I are just like cool as a cucumber. It's
That's
just
awesome.
like, hey, what do you want to do today? Oh, nothing. Okay, awesome, great. That's what I want to do. We're adventurous in some. But we also just like to chill out. I think with how busy I am on the weekends, sometimes it's actually kind of nice to have somebody that's like, I just want to chill. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, because I'm very like up and go. I have to be doing something. So, like this weekend, I got up at 8 a.m. and I was already in the yard. And before she was ready, I had, which I never play country music, but I put country music in the window to the master, so she knew that I was listening to country music. She knew I was beckoning her to come outside to come.
You're
help me.
serenading
I
her.
was serenading her, getting her up and ready for the day through the window because I knew it would get her, and she knew I don't. She knows I don't listen to country for the most part, so she knew that was me making an attempt to get her outside.
Getting outside your comfort zone to get in there. Okay.
Just help me finish this thing so I can go back inside and chill out. Is pretty much what it was.
Where the AC was.
Yeah, where the AC was, but it was. If I got it done early, it wasn't going to be in the heat, so there was incentive. But no, cool as a cucumber, man.
That's awesome because you guys are a beautiful couple. And so let's jump into your love story.
Thank you.
How did you guys meet? Because I love those kind of stories.
No, I'm all about it. It's great. So I'm a. You're gonna go. I am a scheming human being. Is what I am. Amanda met me at a car show through a certain individual, who's a friend of ours, and I said certain like he's not a friend of ours, but he is through a person in the car community, and so I just met her. That was it. Never really thought twice, obviously, about anything pursuing in that direction, but she knew who I was. She knew what I did. She knew, obviously, about the car shows and stuff. And so I walk into my history class in college. I sit down on the opposite end of the room entirely. I think she walked in late that day, and she sat like right inside the door. Kind of the ones where you creep in. You're like, oh shit, I'm late. And you kind of like pick like the first desk.
Right.
And so I saw her, and I was like, man, you're sitting right across all the way the stinking room on the first day. So I like leaned all the way over to like get her attention, and I didn't have her number then, so I just Instagrammed. I'm like, hey, what are you doing sitting all the way over there? And so the person I was sitting next to, I actually knew through work.
Yeah.
So she sat like diagonal to me, and man, I told her I didn't have a pencil, I didn't have a piece of paper, I would do anything to talk to her. So yeah, I would.
But you had all those things?
I had all of those things. I had all of those things. Scantrons, you name it. I would do anything I could to just be like, hey, to inconvenience her in any way. Be like, hey, you have a pencil today?
Pay attention to me.
Pay attention to me. I want you to not pay attention in class. And I slowly found out that she's super competitive, just like myself. She's toned me down to be a little more quietly competitive.
That's good.
But she's like, I'm going to beat you in this class. I'm like, well, history is my best subject, so.
Ooh, a little tension.
A little
Okay.
tension. She totally beat me, which didn't feel very good. But
Yeah.
but that was just like it just parachuted us out, from
So
there.
did you ask her out that day, or was
No. There was some.
more shenanigans?
No. That was like August, September time. We started officially dating in December. So after that, the rest is kind of history. See none of this like millennial break crap that people do. Like no. It's 5 years. It'll be all the way to the end. It's already over 5, but it'll be 6 this year, and just
Wow.
trucking
That
through.
you've been together.
Yes, 6 years been together. It'll be a year married in October.
And how old are you?
26, almost 27 now.
Wow. So you started this very young.
Yes, got
Wow.
after it. No wasted time.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I mean, you have somebody that's into cars. You have somebody that gets what you do
That's
is
huge.
understanding, and to have her support really on, what I do on the outside. I'm doing 20 to 30 car shows a year. To have somebody be like, hey, I'm going to be gone doing 20 to 30 shows personally a year, and I need you to be my Robin. You need to be my cash handler. You need
Yeah.
to be the one that is my eyes when I'm not around, type person. So her understanding that and supporting everything I do, I said, just love me and support me. That's it.
So let's shift gears. How you like that segue?
Oh,
Into car shows. So you've
Sure.
been doing this for what, 10 years now?
it'll be 10 years in December. I've been doing car gatherings, shows, however we want to call it. Yeah.
So I'm not a car guy, so you got to break this down for me.
Sure.
But all I remember is as we're going through the transaction, you invited me to some car show, and I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I haven't really done something like that. So,
Sure. And you have younger
I'll-
kids that might be interested. So.
Yeah, I have young kids. They thought might be a good idea. And so I'm about to go, and then I see on Facebook like other people are posting about it. Like there's like just basically a whole traffic cluster in the middle of the city. And I was like, oh, there's Justin's car show. And then something else happened. And it's like, okay, I can't go because there's no way I was going to get to it.
That was the actual, the day I invited you to that one, we got lucky. We put, it was actually in the middle of 2020, May of 2020, which was the height of everything we were doing. I think that was right after, I don't know, like March, April was the heat, and then May was like people started to question. I think May was about the questioning period of everything going on, and I had the opportunity to do an event, and I'm like, I haven't done one all since January, and the people are hurting for one, and you try and balance your own choices and being a man of the people. What do people want? The people want to meet, and they can't.
Yeah.
And so you're like, what am I going to do? So I actually did one. And it was the same day as well as a BLM march in Temecula. So
That's what it
that
was,
was
yeah.
taking place from the pond to the city hall. And so the police had to juggle basically, do I want to deal with 3,000 to 5,000 people marching, or am I going to deal with 1,500 cars times 2, 3,000 other people, a couple blocks away? What's it going to be? And so they dealt with, obviously, the traffic jam of people walking from the pond to City Hall, which is totally fine. But we made it the whole event without a hiccup at all. With that many cars, that was astronomical. That what I thought was the craziest it could ever been proved me wrong. 3 weeks ago, I proved myself wrong. But that at May 2020, I thought that was like just bonkers to
How do
accomplish.
you get 1,500 people to gather at an event like that?
And then do it in 4 or 5 days notice?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're just a
I
marketing
don't know.
genius.
It just happens. And a lot of the times, with social media, a lot of people do the work for you. If you have the proper connections, it helps. Choreographing, people to be there and then them choreographing their own people to make it happen is, I don't have a tuner vehicle or anything that really fits with the demographic that I cater to. So I often rely on a lot of the connections I have to, help me out and make it happen. And, not owning a cool car for almost all of this 10 years. I've owned, a Mustang prior, and I have my Oldsmobile now. But, there was a good duration where I'm throwing shows and I own a truck and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what I drive, but, I don't go to other events. Because I didn't have that car. I couldn't market myself in that way. So that was restricting. So you often have to rely on just your grassroots connections with certain people to help you out. But yeah, that was a big time. That was a lot of cars. I definitely have video of that to showcase for sure.
So with that said, let's take a peek at this video. Billy, we'll cue up that video and throw it in. Here we go. was awesome, man. So you really do get a lot of human beings and automobiles in the same place, and
It's a monster, man. It is a monster, and it's, you have to think if there's 1,500 cars, there's at least 2-3 people
per car.
per car for the most part. You can assume so.
So let's, it's awesome that this is going well, but it had to start somewhere. So doing the math really quickly, you said you're about 26 years old and you've been doing this for about 10 years. So what, you got your driver's license? You're like, I'm going to start throwing car shows? Did you even have a license when you did a car show?
I guess in weird theory, but in late 2012, graduated from high school. So about 17 at the time, 18 almost, probably right around that range. I put it around December, but really it started out just collectively, just a bunch of friends meeting up, actually at a Starbucks off of Temecula Parkway. That'd be me. Meeting
going.
at Starbucks off Temecula Parkway, just a bunch of us. And basically it grew too large for that lot, and we basically just took it across the street, and it kind of just took off from there. I had a couple great friends help me out in the beginning, and it's everybody's grown up and moved on, started careers, started a family, and all those things. And I've stayed in Temecula, and I've kept it running, and now we're off to the races pretty much. But yeah, the problem is you get kicked out of parking lots. You're loitering. You're a nuisance. You're not welcomed here. But in retrospect, you just, I guess, want to hang out with your friends, is really the plot. And sometimes it grows to be too many friends, and that's pretty much what had happened. So,
What if you had like picket signs? Can you say that's like your right to assemble?
I guess I could.
When
I
I'm
wish
for loopholes for you,
loopholes. I know. I will say over the last 10 years, I think the sheriff and the Temecula police that we have, have really allowed me to excel. Because if they put their hammer down, 10 years ago, I definitely wouldn't be here. They've been super lenient, understanding, and pro what I'm doing, based on what I felt on my interactions over the last 10 years with them, that it allowed me to continue, and then continue at the way I went, and then where I ended up. We had, I got a deal with, big breakthrough in 2015 was I got a deal with Pizza Factory. Pizza Factory, French Valley in Temecula, gracious people they are. They just helped me out. They said, hey, look, you want to do a show here? Let's get you insurance. Let's get you,
That's awesome.
I'm like, okay, cool. All right, I need to form an LLC now. Okay, got it. Or now I have insurance. Okay, cool. Getting invoices sent and dealing with all that, and, them contributing money back to me for bringing them the people really, help me orchestrate what I bring to the table, what I bring value. So it started to just be like a good group of friends to being like, wow, there's a lot of people here. How can I continue to do these events by getting a business's approval to be there? That was like the first plan, was like, how can I stay somewhere without getting kicked out? Because that was annoying, having to change spots every time. We changed 8 spots before we landed at Pizza Factory. And
So is that the consistent place now, is Pizza Factory?
No, but in 2015 it was.
Nice.
That was, that, I wouldn't say had a falling out. We just grew too large for that parking lot, and it
Sure.
became more of a nuisance to others than actually Pizza Factory itself. So, time went by. I think we lasted there for a good year and a half or so, and we swapped between Temecula and the French Valley location, and it worked out great. And some people wish we went back to that day, and I'm sure, it was a lot less. I won't say corporate, but it was a lot less, just more just genuine, just like, hey, come hang out from 6 to 10 p.m. and bring your car.
So what is the name of your
So it's local car scene.
Local
And
car
so
scene.
it started out as Temecula Tuesdays up until about 2015. Rebranded it because I couldn't do shows anywhere else other than Tuesdays in
Right.
Temecula.
Right.
And from a business standpoint, that doesn't make any sense.
That's a branding lesson.
As a
right
branding
there. Yeah.
lesson, if any of you are watching this, definitely take the branding lessons. Don't stick yourself to just one thing in one place.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. You're a bald guy, red tie. You have to wear a red tie.
I know.
Well,
Sometimes I want to wear a blue tie or a green tie.
Can't.
Sometimes I want to have an afro. I don't know.
You can't.
But I can't.
They can't.
Nope.
But hair. You could, but then you have to rebrand yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to do
I don't want to do that. But you're the bald guy, the red tie, the famous, notorious
But you
one,
kind.
notorious one. But that was it. That
So-
was, and I rebranded it in 2015 and got a new logo done, got everything done up, got a 10 by 20 tent, got another Temecula Myriad business, Fabosi Miller, to help me with the cost. He's on all my stuff that I bought at that time. That was a big deal to have a tent and then start to do music at night meets. That was a big deal. No one was really doing that. And
So really, this has been a process of building.
Correct.
Just
Totally.
that entrepreneur, like going on the journey and grinding.
Nothing was built overnight here. Where the Inland Empire is, it's a, and Temecula is, it's a very, obviously hot rod and car friendly place. It just is. But when in terms of social media and growth and other events, there are events that are in other counties that will start up overnight, and I mean blow by me in terms of social media presence and gathering, and that's fine. Go ahead.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. That's totally cool. You come to Inland Empire, it's local car scene. That's the premise. You go to Orange County, you think of other ones. You go to LA County, you think of other ones. I just know when you come here, you're like, no, you think about us. That's it. But there's plenty of people that are blown by me miles. That used to be beneath me in follower count. Just parachute by. That's all right. I don't step foot anywhere. Unless I'm working with somebody now. There's no just meetups at Kohl's parking lot till 10. I don't. As I get older, my time is realized to be more valuable, and I'm bringing so much, people and so much to the table now. It's like, what is it? What does it cost? To just have me, and we've grown exponentially over the last 2-3 years. So
you have a community.
I have a community. I have a gracious, so kind community that supports me in the events.
That's huge.
And I like to think they think I do a good job because they keep coming. But yeah, I take a little bit more precaution and care into everything I do, just so the people that attend the shows that I do feel it's a safe place to be. And I think that's most important. Most people that throw car events and meets can't say that because they're doing a lot of just stuff I used to do in 2012, 2013, right. Just a lot of background stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like 2015 Pizza Factory, yeah, I probably should have pulled a permit other than just doing the property management way and getting their okay and getting the insurance. Like, I could have taken that a step further, pay for permit, but back then I really didn't know what our capabilities were. And
how to navigate that?
Yeah. How do I navigate that? How does a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid pay for that? In terms of a $300 permit plus police officers based off the people. It's not. It wasn't there yet, and now we're getting to that point where we are like, we have to have the city's awareness of everything that we're doing because it's just getting so large.
So what's the next couple years look like for what you're doing here?
I don't know. And
That's
you know
fun.
what? I don't have the answer to that because
That's okay.
And that's okay. And I'm okay with seeing where it goes. And I think that's been the greatest thing about this whole process is I never know where it goes and where it ends up. I think that local car scene has a couple different ways it can be beneficial to others other than myself. I mean, I can throw events on behalf of myself. I can rent a venue and I can charge tickets to get in. I can rent a venue and do it for free.
Yep.
I can do that. Or, I have a large influencer. I just worked with Dustin Williams, and in the car community, Dustin Williams is in the upper echelon of YouTubers, and he said, I want to throw a show with you. And I'm like, great. And I told him, I'm like, I don't want you to do anything other than you be Dustin for the day. You shouldn't have to worry about the show. I'll get you the venue. I'll tell you how much it is. I'll get you the restrooms. I'll tell you how much it is. You just sign autographs, post pictures, hang out with your fans and all your people that subscribe to you on YouTube. I'll worry about the logistics of the show. You just pay me and I'll do
awesome.
it all. And then, I've worked with Gosh Ford Temecula for 3 years now. I used to work. I worked there for a year. I had a little in to definitely get that spot, but I worked with them for 3 years doing Cars and Coffee there on the first Sunday of every month. I mean, and that was fantastic. I mean, talk about consistency. 3 years in one place to go from somewhere from hopping each place to find a consistent home that paid you to do a service for them.
Yeah.
It's Gosh Cars and Coffee, not local car scene Cars and Coffee. I have nothing to do with it in theory other than it being Gosh Cars and Coffee. You might have called it local car scene Cars and Coffee or Temecula Cars and Coffee, but on all the graphics, on everything you knew, that was Gosh Cars and Coffee because that was their event. So as a business, a business can use me, an individual can use me, or I can use my own name that I've been using for years and do my own thing.
So this is just naturally in your DNA to do this kind of stuff.
I don't know. It got me where I am now with where I'm working. I mean, everything, I'm still in school. Everything that I'm doing right now is all earned. I didn't get my job at Gosh because I didn't have any marketing experience. I just was like, hey, I do car shows. Will you take a bet on me? And then I worked somewhere else for 2 years, and then my current job I have now is Status Racing and PRP Seats. Shout out.
Woo! But I'll talk about that next.
I know, right? But basically, the job came up for postage. Status Racing actually sponsored one of my shows, so I knew the marketing director, and I just said, "Hey, is this job for real?" I texted him when I saw it and he goes, "Yeah, you want to come by and get it?" And I'm like, "If you want to take a bet on me, because once again, I don't have what you would typically be looking for,
Sure.
other than a planning background and a marketing background of just doing events and stuff like that. So learned a lot the first 6 months in a business perspective of what they need. And now I'm a brand manager for 2 seat brands. I mean, PRP Seats and Status Racing. So it's basically just been just plan, execution, train, since I've gotten my new role. So
let's talk about Status Racing. So
Sure.
they make seats.
yes, so Status Racing is actually just a small part of a large company. So PRP Seats has been around since 1997. It's the #1 off-road seat manufacturer for Jeeps, Broncos, UTVs, or side by sides. They just so happen to buy Status Racing, which is for normally import cars, and their aftermarket seats for, your Toyota GT86, FRSs, and Nissans and all that stuff. So I've that channel, of throwing car shows helped me excel this particular brand. And then in January 2021, I had to shift and focus on PRP, and Status was off to the side because now I run both. But so it's just been a big hug almost. I have both, but yeah, Status's growth. I've used my car show influence to kind of grow that success up, and then PRP now is on my back, and we're rocking and rolling.
I love the marketing puzzle of the entrepreneur's journey. It's like one piece fits into here, and you're like, okay, why am I doing this? And then and then they just kind of match up together, kind of thing. So
it's really bizarre.
It really comes together.
And I, can't thank my boss enough almost for just taking a bet on me. And I told him, I wanted, the marketing manager position when I first got hired. I'm like, that's the one I want. I know I have those skills. He's like, no, I have somebody for that. I think you'd be good at the social media. And I'm like, well, damn right, I'm going to be good at the social media one because I do that already. I already excel at that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? I'm 24, 25. I have some stripes to earn. Let's do it. I have nothing to lose.
That's
I
awesome.
don't have my degree. I don't have anything. I'm going to go in there and rock it. So I did that from May 2019 to December 2020, running 4 brands, social media, and then January 2021 hit, and it was, hey, you're the brand manager now. You do everything for PRP Seats and everything for Status Racing. Have a nice day. Good luck. And I've taken it as a challenge.
Yeah.
To prove myself right that I could have had that position almost, in a way. But this position now is so much more than that. But it's definitely a earn your stripes situation for me. I have to prove to myself if I can't be a brand manager for the #1 off-road seat company, who's to say I can't go anywhere else when I'm 35? And nothing's promised. To say I'm going to be at PRP Seats for 10 years would be a lie. I don't know that answer.
Yeah.
Being as connected as I am, I can't say that.
Yep.
But I definitely, it would like if they'd like to keep me and it makes the most sense for me and my future family, then let's see what we can do. But I got to prove it here first. I'm 26. I have everything to gain at this point. Let's just rock it, and then come out of this with hopefully an extensive resume on top of, my car show stuff, and doing this on top, even though I might still be trying to obtain my 4-year, bachelor's degree, I can at least go, hey, look, proof's in the pudding, you guys. Execution 101. I might not have the paper you're looking for, but it's all right here. You can see it.
And as somebody that hires people, I would rather take the person that's been on the streets and earning that street knowledge
Yeah.
of doing a job rather than, well, I read a book about it. It's like, well, okay, that's great, but
Yeah.
but you've been in the trenches.
And I think that trend's rising where
Yeah.
people see where they would rather have that at this point. It's kind of weird, you initially, you get brought up, in a household that, emphasizes on going to college and,
Right.
and getting a 4-year degree because that's what matters. And, if any of you guys are watching this, you don't have to have a 4-year degree to make it.
Yeah.
You can definitely get down in the trenches and get after it. You can get your degree at 30. You can get your degree at 35. It's all good, as long as you have a mental plan for yourself. I don't know what my next step is for my car show world, but I'm still getting a degree. I'm just going to make it happen. Wherever I end up is wherever I end up necessarily. But,
I think that's what I was always really impressed about with you is that you don't carry yourself as a 25, 26-year-old. you know, like you have a lot of wisdom and experience and drive and just a level head on your shoulders. Because usually, you know, people live off in like these big fantasy lands or whatever, or they're still living with, you know, mom and dad or whatever that situation might be. But you literally just like carved your own path.
And I try and I did 4 years of youth ministry actually from 2012 to 2016 in middle school, which was great. I mean, but you get to, you know, see them grow up. You know, you get to help them in situations maybe they don't want to talk to their parents about. And that's really what it was. It was, I'm going to come to youth group, and you know, if something's heavy on their heart, they would, if they trusted you enough, they would express it to you. Yeah. And I approached it always to try and be the maybe the cool one in the group, you know, to be like, hey, you know, I've done some stuff in high school maybe I wasn't proud about, but you know, what are you guys doing? You know, like I'm here for you is all I wanted to say. You know, is just like, hey, you know, I wasn't the best student in high school. You know, that's okay. You know, what's up? Or you're talking to this girl. Okay, what's up? You know, like you just try and be there for that person. And, you know, I do it every day at work. You know, there's an individual that's, you know, 21. Oh, I'm modifying my car. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm like, bro, come on, man. It's you know, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, let's, you know, it's not practical. You know, what are you doing? You know, how old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 19. I'm like, all right, 19. I said, I said to him, to his face, I said, by 20, almost 21, you better not work here. I said, you better not work here. You better not have that car. And you better stop modifying that car at least. Yeah. You know, you have to start thinking, I mean, what's that? What are you going to do? You know, you just wasted this money into this, you know, everyday economy car. You just transformed into this rocket ship. It's like, for what? Yeah. You know, and even I did some stuff like that, you know, but it's like me now being where I'm at now, you know, and in relative age to them allows me to be like, yo, I'm like 5 years older than you. What are you doing? Yeah. You know, let's, you know, start prepping to get after it. You know, don't be stuck here like at 20. Like, what are you going to do? You can't be, you know, shipping boxes in the warehouse forever. Yeah. You know, you're 20. It's totally acceptable now. You know, but
using your wisdom and experience to influence.
I
and inspire.
I want people to have a plan. You know, in some ways. You know, I don't necessarily just want, you know, people to just not plan for things. You know, it's as we know. You know, it's millennials are buying houses right now. You know, it's like, you know, he's going to come across the block at some point. You know, he might have 10 grand in his car now. You know, that could have been a healthy down payment if he was wise. Yep. You know.
Well, you've done a lot in your short 26 years, my man. And,
it's wild to think about, but it's been a ride, and it'll continue to ride, thankfully.
Well, I always love watching you on Facebook, or you know, we'll text each other back and forth every once in a while.
No, for sure.
It's always fun, man. It's always the journey that we're going on.
And everyone's on a different one, and if you tell yourself that, it's all good.
Yeah, it's true. Just drive to the car show.
You can just drive to the car show like myself. Just go to the car show, you know. But yeah, everyone's on a different journey. It's the one thing definitely my parents have etched into my head. Everyone's on a different journey, baby. That's it.
So, in final words, what wise words would you share with the Red Tie community and all your millions of fans that are going to tune in to watch this?
My millions of fans. You really hyped it up like I have a million fans. I don't even have a million.
Wait, you don't have a million fans? Why are you on the show? I'm trying to siphon off your audience, man.
Okay, riding the coattails, okay. Really don't have a million fans. But honestly, well, the people that do watch this clip, thank you for watching the whole duration. I will say, if you're watching this all the way through, bless your heart. Yeah. If I had to tell anybody anything that was around my age, I would tell them, you know, keep going. You know, there's nothing stopping you. And I think, you know, that might get, you know, played around as, you know, redundant. You hear that from lots of people, but I hope if you hear it from me, you know, keep after it. Keep being resilient in what you're doing. Believe in it when nobody else does. And no one else is going to say you're number one unless you say it yourself.
Ooh, drops the mic.
That's true. If you don't believe that you're number one, no one will say you're number one. Because who else is going to say you're number one? Yeah. And if you're older than me and watching this, thank you so much for watching me grow. Appreciate it.
Well, I think you have a incredible future ahead of you, man, and it's going to be cool to watch it.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun to watch this video in the next 5 to 10 years, and then see where you've come from.
I'm ready to come back in 5 and see what's cooking then.
God willing, we'll be here, man.
Killer.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of the Red Tie Community Show with Justin Constant, the car guru, community organizer, the marketer, the extraordinary, Amanda's husband.
That too. That's the most
the
important
important
line
thing.
you
That's
said.
the important thing.
Absolutely. Love you.
To Amanda, not me.
Both Amanda, I definitely love you. John, I love you too for everything you did for me.
I love you too, buddy. And that's it for this Red Tie Community Show. John Butler, the ball guy in the Red Tie. Justin Constant saying, see you in escrow. Bye.